Cardinal, we can now see you again. Can you hear us?
I can hear you and I can see you, Your Honour.
Right, Ms Vaness, I'm afraid, Cardinal, again we got nothing of your answer here. So Ms Vaness will just remind everyone that the subject of the question and then back to you for the answer.
Cardinal, you were answering a question in respect of the analogy that could properly be drawn between the Melbourne Response and a state-sponsored victims of crime compensation scheme.
That is correct.
Perhaps you would repeat your answer. We didn't receive any of it here, Cardinal.
Very good. I agree with you that it is not a perfect parallel at all. One of the difficulties for us in those days was there were few, if any, other and similar schemes to ours in existence. To some extent, the church situation does resemble that of the government. Let me give a non-controversial example. If there is a series, for example, of trucks carrying merchandise around the country, if in fact these are improperly serviced or the drivers are pushed to work for too long, obviously there is a culpability somewhere in the authority chain. If in fact the driver of such a truck picks up some lady and then molests her, I don't think it's appropriate, because it's contrary to the policy, for the ownership, the leadership of that company to be held responsible. Similarly, with the church, if the head of any other organisation, if there has been, every precaution has been taken, no warning has been given, it's, I think, not appropriate for legal culpability to be foisted upon the authority figure. If in fact the authority figure has been remiss through bad preparation, bad procedures, or been warned and done nothing or insufficient, then certainly the church official would be responsible. So I agree with your basic point that the comparison with the crimes compensation is not entirely appropriate, but I'm not sure what other models we had at that stage to compare with. And I might say that the amount we paid then, 18 years ago, compares similarly, at least in absolute terms, not value, with, and once again it's not a perfect parallel, with the victims of harassment and molestation in the armed forces, with the compensation paid over the last few years.
Cardinal, when you first established the Melbourne Response, did you know yourself of the potential damage that abuse might cause to a child and their development and their life story?
This is 18 years ago. Obviously, my understanding has deepened with the years, but I did understand then something significantly about the level of suffering, and for that reason the access to counselling was uncapped from our point of view.
When you say your knowledge has deepened, do you mean that you have come to a greater appreciation of the consequences for some people?
Your Honour, I have been wrestling with this problem for 18 years. I've met many victims who've suffered enormously. A few very hostile. I have heard the stories of terrible sufferings in some cases. The Foster's girls is one such case. Of course, if you deal with this thing regularly and over a long period, you come to understand better and better the suffering that is caused.